Prabhu did a fantastic job with all the examples from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and the stories that he gave were amazing so that we can remember it very well. And today we are going to talk about how we can attain the Supreme. At the end of life, how do we attain that Supreme? Yes, we know, we learned that, we need the Supreme, but how do we attain Him at the end of life? What is the path to attain the Supreme? So over to you, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, without any further ado. Sorry, I took a minute to just summarize the class. That way, it is refreshing for everybody. I should have started with questions. Tomorrow, I'm going to start with the questions. So be prepared, all of you. Chapter 8, all of you listen with rapt attention so that you'll be able to answer the question. Over to you, Chandrasekhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mathaji. Nice explanation of summarizing that chapter. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, our devotees. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita session. Let me share my screen. You all can see my screen. Yeah. So today we'll be learning about chapter 8, which is attaining the Supreme. Okay. So let us start with prayers so that we get the mercy of Guru and Krishna to understand it in the right way. Let us fold our hands and do the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let us offer our sincere obeisance to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our Shiksha Guru Prabhuji, as well as Sindu Mathaji. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, as Sindu Mathaji nicely explained the summary of this chapter 7, so we understood about hearing, the three ways of hearing, that is acquiring the knowledge, and how we can see Krishna everywhere, and who are the people who accept or reject to Krishna or surrender to Krishna, right? And we also understood about the devatas who give the temporary results, right? So we'll go further to understand more about chapter 8. So today we'll we're going to understand the doubts that Arjuna is getting. So he is asking some questions to Krishna, and those are answered by Krishna in this chapter. And we'll also understand what is exam, means death. So death is actually exam for us. We'll understand more in detail about that as well. And how to attain the Supreme through the slokas 9 to 22. And ultimately, what is the devotion through the slokas 23 to 28. Right? So as you can see, the short form of today's chapter is dead, right? So doubts. So this is about the doubts that are explained through slokas 1 to 4 from this chapter. These are the doubts raised by Arjuna. And we'll understand about the death in more in detail through the sloka 5 to 8. And ultimately attaining the Supreme. How to attain the Supreme? That is Krishna, right? We'll understand that as well. And the devotion part, lastly, how we can engage ourselves in the devotional service. So here Arjuna says, Adi Ajnakatam Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kale Chakatam Neyosi Niyatatmabi who is the Lord of sacrifice, and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So here Arjuna is asking the question. So, O Lord of sacrifice, how someone lives in this body, and how people who are engaged in devotional service will know about him, right? So he's asking these questions. We'll actually understand more what are the different questions in the next slides. So actually, Arjuna is asking these following questions, right? So what is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adi Bhuta? What is the Adi Daiva? What is Adi Yajna? Where is he is? Does he preside? Okay, he's asking so many questions here, right? And the eighth question is, how can those engaged in devotional service know Krishna at the time of death? We'll get the answers from Krishna in the following slides here. We'll go through that. So Krishna answers the Arjuna's 7 questions, right? So Brahman. So the Brahman is actually indestructible living entity. So Brahman is nothing but a soul, right? So soul is indestructible. So as we understood in the chapter 2 itself, soul is if you want to understand the size of the soul, it is actually 1/10,000th part of a tip of the hair, right? If you take a single hair, if you take the tip of that hair, if you cut into 100 parts and again take the again single part and again cut into 100 parts, that is the size, that is the smallest size of the soul. And that is the same size that resides in all the living entities. So even if you take an ant, a human being, elephant, or any tiger, or any animal, or any smallest of the creature, so that is the size of the soul, right? So that see how powerful the soul is. Being that smallest, we have so much of the Chaitanya in our body, right? So that is the Brahman. Brahman is nothing but the understanding of the soul, which is indestructible, and also it is independent, right? So it's not that once we leave this body, we are going to merge with the bigger soul or something like that. Nothing like that. So wherever we are, we will be independent only, whether we are in this material world or in the Goloparanda. So that is about Brahman, right? So Brahman is nothing but the indestructible living entity. Adhyatma. So Adhyatma is the living entity's nature, which is to serve. Actually, the main nature of any living entity is to serve. If you take anyone, so we are actually serving one or the other person, right? So if we are very much inclined towards the work, then we are serving our boss, right, or the organization, right? And if we are very much fond of our family, then we are actually serving our family, right? So the wife, the children, or the parents. If you take anyone's example, because the living entity cannot live without serving, right? If no one is there in their family, or if he's alone, then ultimately he will actually either take a pet like a dog or a cat, or some people will take aquarium, they will serve the fish, right? So the default nature, the living entity's nature is to serve, right? But we have forgotten whom we need to serve, right? Actually, our purpose is to serve Krishna. In this life, we have taken this birth, human life, is because to serve Krishna, to please him and go back to him. So that is the ultimate goal, right? So that is called Adhyatma, right? The living entity's nature, which is to serve, right? Then karma, the reactions that force the living entity to take a material body in this world, right? So karma we have understood in detail in the previous chapters by Sindu Mathaji, that we have different types of reactions, right? So there are 3 types of karma, right? So karma, vikarma, and akarma. Karma is nothing but the activities done as per the scriptures, right? The people who does the activity as per the scriptures, they are known as karma, and they will attain the higher planet. And whereas vikarma is something we are doing against the scriptures. So that is vikarma, means we are going to accumulate a lot of sin if we are doing the vikarma activities, right? Whereas akarma is the activities that we do keeping Krishna in the mind, right? So keeping mentality of serving Krishna, right? So we are always want to please Krishna. So those are the activities, right? So whenever you are preparing some food, so you are preparing it for Krishna, right? When you are taking care of your family, you are thinking that they are the children of Krishna, and I have got the responsibility of taking care of them, right? So those are the activities they are which we are keeping Krishna in the center of all the activities, then it becomes as akarma. So in that case, we are not going to accumulate any sin or a pious thing, right? So that way we get closer to living this material world of and getting out of this cycle of birth and death. If we do more and more of akarma, right? So that's about karma. And Adibhuta. Adibhuta is the ever-changing material nature, right? It is created, maintained, and then destroyed, right? So this entire material nature is called as Adibhuta, right? The further thing is Adi Devata. Adi Devata means he who presides over all the devatas and their planets, the universal form of the Lord, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, right? So Adi Devata is nothing but the supreme personality of Godhead, that is Krishna, right? So he presides over all the devatas. So he is the supreme, he is the superior to all, as we understood in yesterday's sloka also. He has declared himself that he is the superior to all, right? So he even in the chapter 11, we can also see that he will show the universal form where we can see all the devatas within that itself, right? And then Adi Yajna. So Krishna is the super soul, the lord of all sacrifices, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, right? So Krishna is the super soul. He resides in all the living entities, actually, right? So that's a Paramatma. As a Paramatma, we can see he residing in all the living entities along with us in our heart, actually, right? So he's Adi Yajna. So he is the real enjoyer, actually. So if you see that we are enjoying this life, but the real enjoy the Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. So he is the uh, real enjoyer of all the benefits, right? So Krishna is the super soul and he resides in all the living entities and he's the same super soul. It's not that one person has a different super soul, another person has different soul. It's not. So our soul are different and independent, whereas the super soul is the same. The same Krishna resides in everywhere and he knows each and everything about us, the past lives, the future of everything, and what are our desires. So accordingly, we'll get our next life, right? He knows about each and every living entity because he is not changing the body. He remembers each and everything. So that's a Adiyadya. So and he's situated within everyone's heart. So Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. So that's about Adiyadya. Now coming to the last question, which is more important. So Arjuna's eighth question, the main subject matter. So it's how can one attain a spiritual destination at the time of death, right? So this is what is the important question that Arjuna is asking. So how one can attain a spiritual destination at the time of death, right? So this is nothing but the, let's say this is kind of an art of dying, right? So actually this death is an exam for us and this life is a preparation for that exam, right? So we can also take the story of Alexander, right? When he was towards the end of his journey, like all of us who know that Alexander was a very selfish person. So he wanted to accumulate the entire world, actually, right? So he wanted to win over the world. So when he was towards the end of his life, and he acquired so many kingdoms, and he was actually at the entrance of the Indian territory, right, at the beginning of acquiring India. So that time when he was with his soldiers, and also he was feeling thirsty. He was just making his journey towards India, and just at the towards the entrance of the India. So he was feeling very thirsty and he saw some small hut near the place where they were. So he asked one of his soldiers to go and check there who is there and get some water for all of us. Right. So that soldier went there and he saw a sadhu sitting inside the hut and he said that so the King Alexander has come, so we need water. So please give us some water. So he says. Then that sadhu says, so please ask your king to come here to get the water. So then the soldier says, so do you know who that king is? He's the great Alexander. Then also that sadhu says, no, I won't give the water till he comes and ask the water. Right? Then the soldier comes back and tells Alexander that, so I went there, that Sadhu is there, but he's asking you to come and ask the water, right? So then Alexander asks him, so did you tell him that who has come, like the great Alexander, did you not tell him that? So the soldier says, so I told that as well, but after telling that, he insisted that you only have to come and ask the water. So this, then Alexander is very angry, right? So, and he comes to the hut, and he was very angry, and he opens his sword and keeps his sword at the neck of the sadhu and tells, how dare you can ask me to come? You know who am I? So then the sadhu says, I know who you are. So you are the servant of my servants, right? So then this Alexander is confused. Like, how come I am servant of your servants? Then Sadhu says, so I have conquered my senses, right? Tama, Krodha, Madamatsarya, Lobha, Madamatsarya. So you are actually servant of those. Like you are just acquiring just to because of those senses, the desires of your senses. Whereas I have conquered them and they listen what I say. I am not listening to them. So, and you are just a servant of those servants. That's what I'm saying. Then he realized that Alexander. So then he surrenders to him, and he asks what is the like, reason behind all of this. And he gets to know that all of that what he's doing is just to satisfy his desires, the senses, right? And after so many years, then when he falls sick, and he wants to actually, though he has covered so much of uh, journey, and he has acquired so much of so much of land and all of that. Now he wanted to, when he falls sick, and he wanted to go back to his place and tell his mother and meet his mother, all of that. But he realizes that he is close to death now. So he asks his minister, so can you give me one day of your life, minister? So he asks. So he says, how can I give so he not even a one day, not forget about one day. I can't even give a 1 minute because it's my life and my time. So I can't give that. So he he realizes that whatever he has acquired is not going to buy not even a single minute for him, right? Then he tells the minister when he dies, so what needs to be done, right? So he says, so when I die, so you keep my you call the best doctors that who treated me, right? So they were not able to save me, right? So call the four doctors. They should carry me when I die, like in the procession of funeral, right? So they should carry. Means so even if you accumulate so much of wealth and all, best of the best doctors cannot save you from the death. So that's what that message he wanted to give. And he also told that my hand should be open when my funeral is going on, because eh, people should know that even after acquiring so much of wealth and this one, I'm going empty-handed, right? So like this, so Alexander realized this at the end of his life, right? So death is it is actually our exam. So what we have to do is we have to prepare ourselves during this lifetime so that we have a better life next time, or we should prepare for going back to Krishna, right? Whereas we engage ourselves in these temporary material desires and stuck in this cycle of birth and death, right? So that's how. So we'll understand how we can attain Krishna. So this chapter is about attaining the supreme, means how we can attain Krishna towards the end of our life, right? It's what we need to do towards our end of our life, and what to achieve that, what we need to practice during the life. We can understand all of that, right? So even we can see, so we are behind the material desires of acquiring money, acquiring a house or a car, a nice car or a nice property. But ultimately, we know that we have to leave all this here. But still, we think that we will be here permanently. We will not die, right? But one who knows that this is all just a preparation for the exam of which is death, and having a better destination at the end of this life, because the purpose of this life is to serve, right? So our main goal of taking the human form is to serve Krishna and go back to Krishna. But we have forgotten that, right? We are busy in all these small temporary things and solving temporary problems of health issues, this, that. But our ultimate goal is to go back to Krishna, that we have forgotten. But this way of, by attending this Bhagavad Gita and being in Krishna consciousness, we are reviving that the uh, lost connection with Krishna, right? So with that, we can, once we understand that, then we can change the way we lead our life, right? So that way, we can easily reach Krishna by following the devotional service. We'll understand more further. Yeah. So Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ye prayati sa madabhavam yati nastetra samasyaha. So, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt, right? So here Krishna is actually giving the guarantee, right? We have heard of a lot of guarantees from Modi and all, right? So Modi ki guarantee. So like that, Krishna is giving a guarantee. What that guarantee is? So if someone who is at the end of their life, who is at the deathbed, right? If they remember me alone at at the time of their death, there is no doubt that they will reach me. So it is a guarantee that Krishna will take us back to his abode, right? That is Goloka Vrindavana. Once we go there, we don't have to return back. So he's giving the guarantee. What is that guarantee? That guarantee is that if someone remembers me at the time of death, I will take him back, right? It's very simple, right? So if you remember when you are dying, so if you can remember Krishna, if you just say Hare Krishna, he will come and take you back. But do you think it's that easy that you can remember Krishna at that time of death? We'll understand more, because when you are leaving your body, so you will have a pain of the biting of 40,000 scorpions. So imagine. So in that kind of pain, will you be able to remember Krishna? Just in case of small accident or something, we can't remember anything, right? So imagine that kind of a pain, because we are attached so much to this body, right? Because soul has to separate itself from this body, right? So when you are more and more attached to this material world, then it becomes very difficult to leave this body. So you will have to suffer with that much of pain when the soul tries to separate from this body, right? The because you are still attached, you have so many desires, so it takes some more pain to leave this body and go back, right? Go to the next birth. So during that time, if someone, imagine, is it possible to remember Krishna at that time? It's not possible, right? So that's why we have to practice it, right? So if you practice it throughout this year, throughout this, like you prepare for exam, right? The whole year you prepare for the exam, only then you will be able to remember the answers to the questions that come in the exam, right? Same way, the death is an exam. But what we need to understand is we need to remember Krishna. But how you will remember Krishna? Only by practicing, right? So if you practice in your day-to-day life of remembering him for all the activities when you are doing, keeping him in the middle, then only you will to remember, right? Like for example, if you are drinking water, right? When you are drinking water, before drinking water, if you can say Hare Krishna. So every time if you practice that, then every time when you get a chance to drink water, you will remember Krishna. If you have to make that as a habit, like when before having food, you have to remember Krishna, right? Before going for some exam or some before going to office or after reaching office, before any meeting. So if you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then obviously you will remember the same thing when towards the end of your life. And as we know in many movies as well, so when someone is dying, someone is there to give water at the end, right? So if you practice having water every time and remembering Krishna before having water every time, obviously when someone is giving you water at the time of death also, you will because of your practice, it will come and you will say Hare Krishna. Then definitely there is no way that Krishna will break his promise. He will take you back, right? So that's what we need to learn. So what we need to learn is to practice in your day-to-day life how to remember Krishna, because just by at the time of death, if you want to remember, it's not possible. So, but though there is a example of Ajamil who was able to achieve this because of he named his last kid as Narayana, and when he was dying, he called Narayana, and then Narayana came and sent his servants to get him back, right? But if you see the Ajamil story, he was a very good devotee actually. He was a Brahmana and he was doing all his activities very well. And but what happens in between? He was also married actually. And what happens once he was going in the forest? He saw some prostitute who was engaging with some other men, and he was attracted by the beauty of that prostitute, and then he wanted to have her, right? And he was behind her, and he was so much attracted, he was ready to leave his family also, right? So see, it takes one instance to deviate us because the Maya is so strong, right? So that's why we have to be in the uh, association of devotees. But in Ajamil's case, what happened? He kept on meditating and he was so attracted to that woman. Ultimately, he goes behind her and he says that I want to have you as my wife. And then she says, then you have to be like me. You have to leave this puja and all of that. You have to eat non-veg. You have to steal for me the money from others. So because she was a Shudra, right? And she says, I cannot become a Brahmini, right? So you have to become a Shudra. So he says, I'm ready because he is so much attracted and he is not thinking anything. So he left his family, his wife and everything, and he started staying with her, right? And he was just like any Shudra, and he was just pleasing her, and he wanted to satisfy his desires also. So he just stayed with her and had so many children, like 9 children. I think 9 children he had. But Krishna is uh, very merciful. Actually, he will not leave a pure devotee, right? So, and when he was about to have his last child, so he sends Narada Muni to him, and he Narad Muni comes and tells Ajamil that you can name your last child as Narayana. No. So he accepts that, and then he names his last son as Narayana. And he was so much um, attached to his son, and he was using that Narayana day to day thing, and he was loving his last child, and he was calling Narayana all the time. Narayana, come here. Narayana, do this. Narayana, do that. Get this. Get that. So he was calling Narayana, and he was leading that life. But towards the end of life, what happens? So when he was on the deathbed, uh, when he was about to leave the body, so that time also when it is time to take him back, so the Yamaraja sent his soldiers, like his servants. So they came and he called for Narayana. So because you know, right? So when someone is very close to any saint, obviously they will call their name. So at the end of his life, like that time also, he called Narayana. So, but actually, Narayana means Vishnu actually sent his dutas to stop Yamraja to take him back. Right. So that's how it is. So when it is possible, if you practice by in this case, what is, even though he was not actually taking the name of Narayana, he was calling his son, but Narayana is so merciful that he himself came to protect him, right? So it is very one of the rare case, and that too because he was a very good devotee, and he was because he was a very good Brahmana and he was a very good devotee, Narayana wanted him back. So that's why he he sent Yamadutas away, and later actually he realized, and then he again went back to the Brahmana qualities, and then later he left his body. That's a separate story. But here, that's the essence here is that we will not be able to remember Krishna just by thinking that we can remember at the time of death. We have to practice to remember him at the time of death, right? So that's the essence here. We'll understand more further here. So life is a preparation. That's what we call, like, so life is a preparation, death is a examination. but there is no schedule announced for this exam. It comes as a surprise test, unannounced, right? So in our real time, we know the exam dates and all, right? So like in every month, every year, March, the exam will be there, or April exam will be there. But here, we don't know whether it will be there next minute itself, right? So that's the difference here. So here we don't know the schedule at all. It can come any moment, any point of time, right? And it's not, it's a surprise test kind of thing, right? Whenever in school days you might have seen, right? So whenever you go, you suddenly teacher keeps a surprise test. Like this is also a surprise test. It can happen anytime unannounced. So that is the difference only. So when and how to prepare, right? So when is start now itself, because all these years we are not aware of this, right? So now we got to know that what is the process to attain him. So we have to start now itself, and how we should start, right? So abhyasa, practice chanting. So it is covered in sloka 7. So the more and more we start practicing. So practicing is nothing but engaging ourselves in the devotional service. So Prabhupada has actually given us the ABCD formula. So A is for association, means having association of pure devotees or the devotees, right? B is for book reading. So you need to read the books given written by Prabhupada. So there are so many nice books written by Prabhupada. They will explain the topics in a smaller books, and also Bhagavad Gita. So you can read Bhagavad Gita, you can read smaller books given by Prabhupada, right? And C is chanting. So chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And D is for deity worship or following a proper diet, right? So if you do these things, so that way, so that's the practice. So, and reading Bhagavad Gita and do some service. So even you can go to temple and do some seva there, right? So like cleaning the temple or decorating the deities, preparing garlands for deities, right? Serving the devotees there, preparing bhoga for Lord, and serving it to the devotees. So many things are there. You can engage into that. And Anusmaran. So always remember Krishna, right? So if you practice by following these things, definitely it will become a habit, right? When you have that habit, wherever you are, by your subconscious mind, you will be able to do that, right? So even if you take any even if at your home, for example, if you have kept some items, if you are cooking, right? So if you have kept some items in particular corner, and you are doing everyday cooking, and you are by subconscious mind, your hand goes towards that, right? Same way, when you practice so many things on a day-to-day basis, then obviously it becomes a habit, and even at the end of your life also, you will do the same thing. So that's why how is it is to practice, practice, and practice, right? Practicing only we'll be able to remember Krishna, because we are not so much attracted to Krishna that we suddenly start remembering all the time, right? Only by way of practice only we'll be able to do that. And then when you start practicing, it will please Krishna. And then when you please Krishna, then Krishna himself will start revealing more about himself, and he will take care of our desires. So then once you start chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then we will not be in control of our desires. So Krishna will take care of control of that, because he keeps Maya away from us, because we are practicing the devotional service. Because Maya is also creation of Krishna only, right? She will say, stay away from this person because he is my devotee, right? So that way, so if you more practice more and more, keeping remembering Krishna all the time, then definitely it is possible, right? Attaining the supreme, right? So the Ashtanga. So there are different ways of attaining the supreme, right? From Sloka 9 to 13, it is told how to attain supreme through Ashtanga Yoga, right? Ashtanga Yoga is a 8-step process of how to attain Krishna. There are a lot of rules and regulations, because it 8 steps, it takes years to just to, as per Ashtanga Yoga, to just sit properly to do yoga itself will take so many years, right? So in this Kali Yuga, definitely it is not possible for us, because we are not able to focus even 30 minutes or 45 minutes, right? So definitely Ashtanga Yoga is not recommended for Kali Yuga, because people are so lazy, so distracted, right? So if we just sit for 1 minute, we get so many thoughts, right? And we are not able to focus ourselves properly. So that's why. So this Ashtanga is yoga is one of the way. It was for the people who can uh, go in the forest, sit for a long time, and practice all these steps. And ultimately, there are so many rules. Like even to leave the body also, there is a perfect timing has to be maintained, and it has to go through, it has to come out, because we know that there are different chakras in our body, right? So we have to bring our conscious to the top chakra, and then Brahma Randra is there at the top of our head. So from there, that prana has to leave the body, right? The soul has to leave the body. So it has to match all the timings and the perfection. Only then you will be able to attain the supreme through this Ashtanga Yoga, right? So that's one of the way. Whereas Bhakti Yoga, so it is explained through Sloka 14 to 16. So Bhakti Yoga is simple. We just have to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, engage ourselves in the devotional service. And if you are able to remember Krishna at the time of death, that's how we are going to attain the supreme, right? But only thing it requires is a practice, but it's easy and you don't have to disengage yourself. You have to just engage your senses to in the service of the God, right? And comparing material and spiritual words. So you understand through Sloka 17 and 22 about how what is the difference between the material word and the spiritual words, right? So there are two ways. One is Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. And we'll also understand what we get when we reach the supreme, right? So the spiritual, we go to the supreme word. We can see what is the difference there, right? Even if you see in the material world, there are so many miseries. But if you go to the spiritual world, it's all bliss everywhere, actually. Ashtanga Yoga. See here, it's told here. So practice Sat Chakra Yoga, raise the life air to Adna Chakra, right? So the top of the chakra is Adna Chakra, and chant Om. Renounce all sense gratification, right? You don't have to uh, use your sense gratification, especially sex life, right? So find a mind on heart, fix mind on heart, right? So this is a difficult process, right? So as you can see, different chakras are there. You have to focus on that, and you have to completely leave your sex life, right? And only fix your mind on the heart. So do you think it's possible in this Kali Yuga, right? It's not possible, right? So this is not the right way recommended for Kali Yuga. So Bhakti Yoga. So what is the process in the Bhakti Yoga? So practice chanting, reading, seva to Lord. These are very easy to perform, right? So there is not much difficulty here. Like you don't have to sit for in one place for a long time, right? You don't have to meditate without any distraction and all of that. So all that is not required. Just important thing is to do chanting, reading about Krishna, and doing seva to Lord. Anyone from any walk of life can perform this bhakti yoga, right? So as it is very easy, and anyone can perform this, right? And there is no need for severe renunciation, right? One has to just follow some regulations and perform from whichever position one is, right? So there is no renunciation, right? You don't have to leave anything here. So you just have to do all your activities, whatever you are doing, like even you can do your job, you can do your duty, take care of your family, right? But only thing is keep Krishna in the middle, right? One has to just follow some rules and regulations. That is like having a sattvic food, right? So we'll understand more in the following chapters. Also, there are basic rules. So that is nothing but just for cleanliness and all of that. There are some rules which just we have to follow. And if that is followed, then that's it. So there is nothing now, no difficulty in bhakti yoga, right? Directly engage in service of Lord, which will automatically purify us, right? So engaging in service of Lord is nothing but being in association of devotees, right? When there is a festivities in temple, go there and be part of the services that are there in the temple, right? And help the devotees, the other devotees, and help in maintaining the temple, help in, you can even contribute whatever you are earning, because whatever you are earning is actually is because of the mercy of Krishna, and everything belongs to Krishna. You are just giving some portion of that that will purify rest of your money that you are having, right? So through that you can contribute, and you can also engage yourself. If you are good, if you enjoy cooking, then you just be there, cook for people who are coming to temple, right? And if you are good in decoration, you engage yourself in decorating with the flowers, with other decoration and all of that. So this way, in some or the other way, whichever you like, it's not that you have to take which is not you don't like, but you can just make your whatever things you like, you can use that as a service to Lord, right? There is no restriction that you do this, you do that. You just have to chant Hare Krishna mantra, read books, and engage yourself in the devotional service. So that is the process for attaining supreme through bhakti yoga. Right? It's very simple, and anyone can do that. Even this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra also can be done any point of the time, right? Any point of the day, right? So, and even if you are sitting anywhere, like if you're going in a bus, you can do that. If you're going in a metro train, you can do chanting, right? And even if you have break in office and you are going out for a walk or somewhere, you can do the chanting, right? Only thing is you just have to practice remembering Krishna whenever there is an opportunity, right? So with that, see, you can compare the how a mother takes care of a child, right? So even though the child is there at home, still she will be able to do all the activities at home, right? She will be able to cook because she has, even though she is doing her cooking thing, her mind is at his child only, right? What he is doing, how he'll find a way how keeping even taking care of the child as well as doing the work, right? So she will do some or the other thing, like she will bring the child in the kitchen, keep it somewhere nearby, so that she can keep an eye on that child, but still she'll be able to cook. Same way, we have to remember Krishna all the time, even though we are doing so many things, but ultimately we should keep Krishna in the mind, right? Because the ultimate goal of this life is to remember him and go back to him. We have lost that connection. This Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is given an opportunity to revive that connection that we had with Krishna long back. We have forgot that in these many words. Now is the time, because we are attending this Bhagavad Gita and we know this secret, right? That we have lost the connection to our eternal Father. So, and our Father is waiting for us to receive us. So our duty is to please him and go back to him. And he is so merciful. If you just show 1% of bhakti towards him, he will reciprocate millions of times against that, right? So that's how it is. So the bhakti yoga is so simple. Just have to practice, right? And remember Krishna. So bhakti versus other process. So here you can also see what is the comparison of following the other process of attaining supreme and bhakti, right? So in bhakti, bhakti brings peace. Bhakti cannot be checked, and bhakti can be performed by anyone. Bhakti liberates us. Bhakti purchases Krishna, right? So these are the benefits of following bhakti, right? So you can see it's self-explanatory. So in the last point, bhakti purchases Krishna. So here there is an story, right? So the Ambrish Maharaj. So Ambrish Maharaj was once actually uh, serving the devotees. So he was actually has arranged prasadam for his guest, and Durvasa Muni was one of the guests, and he was supposed to have the food along with Durvasa Muni. So after doing the puja and all of that, and when Durvasa Muni was away for some time, there was a time that the fast has to be broken. So the pujari who was there, he was suggest that you can have the tulsi tirtha, means that's water with a tulsi leaf. So that will not be considered as breaking the fast. So since Durvasa Muni was away, so Ambrish Maharaj thought that let's complete the formality of taking the Tulsi Tirtha. Once Durvasa Muni comes, we can have the prasadam together. So he decides that, and by the time he starts having that Tulsi Tirtha, Durvasa Muni comes. So we know that Durvasa Muni is very strict in this one, and he gets angry quickly, actually. So as soon as he saw that Ambrish Maharaj is having the Tulsi Tirtha, he gets very angry, and he he tries to give him shapa. And what happens is he was so angry because without, how come you can have called me to have the prasadam with you, and then you are having the without my presence. How come you do that? So he was so angry, and then he tries to punish him by throwing some weapon towards him. But what happens is, since Amrish Maharaj is a very good devotee of Krishna, the Sudarshan Chakra comes to protect him from that weapon. And what happens is that Sudarshan Chakra is actually, it was with Amrish Maharaj only. Since it was not right from the part of Durvasa Muni to punish him in this way, so it starts going behind the Durvasa Muni. So the Sudarshan Chakra starts to kill him, like means starts to chase him to kill him. But he knows, right? So Durvasa Muni knows that the Sudarshan Chakra no one can uh, go away, right? He starts running around. So first he goes to Brahma Loka. First he goes to actually Indra. So he says, Indra, please protect me. This Sudarshan Chakra is chasing me to kill. Then Indra says, so this is Sudarshan Chakra, so my weapon cannot help you. So you please go to Brahma. Brahma can save you. So he goes to Brahma, all running. He was so, this Durvasa Muni was so powerful, he was able to go to all the planets, right? So he went to the Brahma Loka. So Brahma says, so even I cannot protect from my weapon against this Sudarshan Chakra. So you go to Shiva. So then he goes to Kailas to Shiva. So then Shiva also says, my Trishul also will not be able to save you from this Sudarshan Chakra. You go to Vishnu. So then he goes to Vishnu. Then Vishnu says, so even I cannot protect you from this Sudarshan Chakra, because this is you have to go to my devotee. You have to ask him for forgiveness for him only, because this is your insulting my devotee, and Sudarshan Chakra has come out to punish that. So only if you go back to Amrish Maharaj and ask for forgiveness, only then the Sudarshan Chakra will be able to save you. See, that's the importance. The bhakti purchases Krishna. So if you are a pure devotee, even Krishna can work for you. That's how it is, right? So because of that pure devotion, even Durvasa Muni was not spared, and that Sudarshan Chakra was given to the devotee to protect him, right? And even the God himself will not be able to stop the Sudarshan Chakra from killing Durvasa Muni, because it is it has come out because it has insulted one of his devotee, right? So that's why if you are into this bhakti, it will definitely uh, it will make Krishna to serve you. Krishna himself will come and serve you in person, right? So that's the power of bhakti, right? We'll understand more further. So karmi wants sense gratification. The karmi means whoever you can take this material world, whoever is behind the material benefit. So those are all called karmis. So what they want is just a sense gratification, right? So they want to enjoy each and everything that is there in this material world. So Jnani, what the Jnani wants? Jnani wants is release from material misery, liberation, oneness with the God. So this is about Brahma Jyoti. Like some people who think that they can merge with the God. So it is like they believe that the Brahma Jyoti is the ultimate thing to be there after liberation. So, but that is not the real liberation, because you are just, even though they think that they are one with the God, they are just like one of the individual part as part of the effulgence of Krishna. That's Brahma Jyoti. Right. So the Jnani's ultimate goal is, so here as we're comparing the bhakti with other process. So this is what is the destination we are comparing. Like karmi, what's the karmi's destination is just a sense gratification. Whereas Jnani wants to be one with the God, means he wants to achieve the Brahma Jyoti state, right? So that's actually beginning of the spiritual destination actually. And yogi, what he wants is a mystic siddhis, right? So he want to acquire some mystic siddhis so that he can impress the people around him, like walking on the water, right? So flying in the air. So these are some siddhis that yogi is behind. Okay. and pure devotee. What pure devotee wants is only to please Krishna. So that's the difference here. So rest all are having some material desires or something they want to acquire. But whereas a pure devotee, he wants to just please Krishna, nothing beyond that. Right? He doesn't ask for anything. So if you have only that pleasing Krishna in the mind, then Krishna will take care of us what is right for us. So ultimately he will be pleased and he will take us back with him only, and we can be part of his pastimes. Right? We can stay with him in Goloka Vrindavana and help in performing his leelas. Right? So that is the ultimate goal. Right? So pure devotee is always there to please Krishna. So how to attain the supreme? Right? Ananna cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasaha tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginaha. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Right here, Krishna himself is telling one who always remembers me without deviation. Right, so the focus has to be only on Krishna. I am easy to obtain. For those people, he is very easy to get. Right, Hosanna, because his constant engagement in devotional service. Right, he is saying one who is constantly engaged in devotional service without any deviation, remembering me all the time, then it is very easy for them to attain me. Right? Krishna himself is declaring here. Right? So that's how simple it is. Only way is to practice. By doing all other activities, while doing other activity, we just have to remember Krishna. Right? We'll move further. Yeah, even in Shloka 15 and 16, right? Mam upete punarjanma dukkalayam asaswatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. In Shloka 15 it says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Right? So here, as per this sloka, Krishna says, the one who attains through this devotion service, right? They don't have to return to this temporary world. This temporary world is full of miseries. The dukkhalayam asashvatam. Right? This material world is temporary, and it is full of miseries, right? So one who attains Krishna, they don't have to come back here, right? So this is not a great place to be here, right? So you might think, like, someone may think, like, how if we don't have to come back and all, right? So do you like to be in a jail? No, right? So this is a material world is like a jail only. So whoever comes out of jail, do they think of going back to jail again? Never, right? So that's how we should think of this material world. This is a temporary, and it's full of miseries. In like in jail, it is full of misery, right? In jail, they'll give a very bad food, right? They will ask you to do so much of work, and the people will scold us. People will beat them when they don't follow the rules, right? So like that, this material world is also full of miseries, right? So once who is engaged in devotional service, they will go back to Krishna's place and they don't have to come back here, right? That's what is explained here. So in Sloka 16, it says, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna Mam Upetya Tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Right? So here Krishna is telling, so all the highest planet in this material, there are 14 lokas are it, right? So we are the earth is at the seventh place. So even all the higher planet, if you take all the 14 planets, it's all it's all of them are a place of miseries only, right? So where people will take birth and death again and again, right? Because of their desires and the karma and all of that, right? But one who attains to my abode, that is Goloka Vrindavana, where Krishna resides, right? So one who attains that place, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again, right? So one who reaches the abode of Krishna, they don't have to come back again to this material world. That's what is explained here as part of 16, right? So, so bhakti liberates us, right? Why should we be liberated? So bhakti, what does bhakti does is it liberates us from this material world and escapes us from the cycle of birth and death, right? So here someone may ask, like, why should we be liberated? Why should we escape the material world, right? The answer is because it is place of misery. It is place of non-performance. It is temporary, non-permanence actually. So it is a temporary word and it is full of misery. That's why we should go out of this, right? So like jail, you can compare this with the jail. So it is a place of misery, right? You don't have to be here. You are there. People are kept in jail to correct them and then get them out, right? So same way, we are in this material world to make us realize that this is not the place actually. So we should realize that this is not the place for us. Our real place is uh, to be with Krishna, right? So to realize that we are given this opportunity as a human being, right? Only through being human, only it's possible that we can understand about Krishna and go back to Krishna. Even if you go to heaven also, it is not possible to go to Krishna because once you are in heaven, it is only temporary there. So till the time you enjoy the benefits of your karma credit, you are in heaven. After that, you are pushed down back to this earth. And again, you have to start this process of getting into the bhakti and then go back to Krishna. So now, without having to spend or waste those that much of time again and again taking birth and reaching that. So now we have got this opportunity. We all of us are so blessed that we got to know that the real purpose of our life is to please Krishna and go back to Him, right? So we should make use of this life. Otherwise, what happens is if someone is not able to make use of this opportunity, then it is a waste of our life itself. Because again, you don't know based on your karma credit what kind of birth you will take in the next life. Right? It can be an animal. So once you become an animal, then you have to go through that cycle of 84 lakh janmas, right? To get the human life again. Right now we have got the human life. Why to waste this life, right? So we have to make best use of this life too, because we got to know now, right? So we know that what is our real purpose, right? We have lost that connection with Krishna, who is our eternal father, right? We have to go back to him because he is waiting for us, right? When we know all of this and still if we don't do this, if we don't take any step to in that direction, then it's a waste of life. If we at least start it, then Krishna will guide us as we progress. But if we don't even start chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at least once in a day, then by knowing this also it's a waste, right? If we don't take step of implementing the Bhagavad Gita is just a manual for a human being. And if you don't implement that in your life, then there is no use of even attending Bhagavad Gita class. It is not just like another book. It is for us to implement in our day-to-day life and go back to Krishna, right? Krishna has given so much of opportunities to achieve that. He has come himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has sent Srila Prabhupada to explain us in a simple way and given the standard process of how to attain him. We just have to follow that. We just have to practice and attain Krishna and get out of this cycle of birth and death of this misery of temporary world, right? So that is the reason we should get liberated. Okay. Why Krishna created such a place, right? So for punishment and purification, why this material world is created is to purify us as well as to punish us, right? So like I gave the example of jail, right? So that's what is here. So criminal elements in society force the authorities to create prisons, right? So we are also kind of criminals only because we wanted to get separated from Krishna and wanted to enjoy outside of Krishna, right? So he has created a place for us. Okay, go there, suffer there, get purified and come back, right? So that is the reason he has created this material world. So it is just like a jail, as we see. So what is the punishment, right? So who is the jailkeeper, right? So punishment is like birth, death, old age, disease. So these are the punishments. And jailkeeper, who is the jailkeeper? Durga Devi, right? So Durga means it's a jail actually. So Durga Devi is a jailkeeper. It's Durga is in charge, jailer, you can say, right? So when in the jail, some jailer will be the head. Same way, Durga Devi is the head of this jail, which is the material world, this planet Earth, right? So and birth, death, old age, disease, these are the punishment. So do you think anyone can skip this? Any living entity can skip birth, death, old age, disease? No, right? It's not possible. So as a human being also, if we just complete this life like any other cat, dog, or anyone, like having taking a birth and suffering the old age and disease, or also having the reproducing the kids and all. So if we just follow the same thing like animals, there is no benefit of being a human being, right? So it can be done by any animal, right? The, as we know now that the purpose of human life is to understand Krishna and go back to him, right? And what is the process for that is to be in devotional service by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because Kali Yuga, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only way that will take us back to Krishna, that will make us escape this cycle of birth and death, right? So this is the punishment and this is the jail keeper, right? Durga Devi is the jail keeper. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see here, the first thing that happens to prisoner. So change clothes, material nature gives us 84 lakh bodies, costumes, right? So this 84 lakh species is nothing but the different bodies that the soul takes before it takes the form of human life, right? So you can see there are different numbers, right, giving here. So the species which live in water, there are 9 lakh species are there, right? And 20 lakh species are there who are non-moving living entities like trees. There are 11 lakh species of insects and reptiles, right? And 10 lakh species for birds, right? 30 lakh species in various quadrupeds, and 4 lakh human species are there. So total there are 84 lakh, right? So in human species also there are 4 lakh actually, right? So to get the human form, so you can say at least 80 lakh costumes you have to change. Means the soul will go through the all of that journey, right? So this is the difficult process. Like I mean, we are now we should feel fortunate that we have got the human body and we have got this opportunity to do bhakti, right? If we do not know this and we do not engage in the devotional service, then obviously it will be a waste of this life. Again, you have to reset, right? Imagine like when you are doing some work again, like if you take the example of maybe you are working on an Excel file, you are preparing so much of data, you are preparing so much of report, and ultimately the power goes and you are not able to save that file. But again, you have to do redo, right? Same way. That's a small example. But whatever human life you have achieved now, that also has come through a lot of journey and towards inclination. Like he gives an opportunity, right? After going through 80 lakh species, he gives an opportunity to come back to me. But if we don't realize that and just again live like a other animal of other 80 lakh species, only if you live this life also, then it is waste. Again, you have to go back to 80 life cycles, 80 lakh life cycles. Okay. So prison without walls, right? So then how are we bound, right? The modes of material nature. So here, so all of us are actually bound by these three modes of material nature, right? We think that we are in our control, but we are actually in the control of these three material modes of nature. That's a mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So mode of goodness is like the sattva guna, like mode of goodness, and the passion is rajoguna, and ignorance is tamoguna, right? So we we are in control of these three material modes of nature, and at a different point of our day, different modes of material nature are dominant, right? In the morning, the mode of goodness is active, where we are doing the good things, like waking up early, doing our some puja activities and meditation or yoga or something. And when the mode of passion, we are actually uh, behind the material pleasures, or maybe when we go to the work, so we are like doing multitasking and all of that, right? Mode of passion. And mode of ignorance, like when in the night, right? So we relaxed and we become lazy, right? And in the weekend, we completely in mode of ignorance, waking up late in the morning, right? Doing things at our will, right? There's no rules and regulations on weekends, right? We just spend our day just like that, right? So like this, so we are controlled by these modes of material nature. Right? We have a separate chapter dedicated to this. We'll understand more there when we come there. The nature of spiritual world, right? So it is eternal. So it is permanent, like so, and infallible. So you are not fallen from there. Unlimited bliss. So there is no limit for bliss. So you are always happy there. I mean, it's blissful there, right? It fulfills all the desires. So this material, spiritual world is so beautiful, and you will. So you have kalpa rukshas, right? So you whatever you wish, those trees will give that for you, right? And it's all attractive everywhere, unmanifested, transcendental, supreme destination, a place of no return, right? So the spiritual world is so beautiful, and once you go there, you don't have to return, and it's the supreme destination, and it's a transcendental, right? So what do they attain? So by going there, what do they attain, right? Avyaktoksara iti yuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapyana nirvatante tadhama paramam mama. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Right? So what here is reiterated by Krishna is in 21 shloka is that so one who attains this supreme abode, that is his abode, he doesn't have to return back, right? And it is infallible, right? So that's what is explained by Krishna here. So devotion, how to attain supreme, right? So through if you read the Bhagavad Gita shloka 23 to 28, we'll also understand more in detail about how to attain supreme, right? So yogis passing the word at right time, right? So here it is explained how to leave this word at the right time for yogis, right? And for bhaktas, free from those rules. So for bhaktas, there is no rule that which time of the day they have to leave the body and all of that. So all those rules are not applicable for bhaktas. But whereas a yogi has to follow so many strict rules and regulations, and he has to follow so much of discipline, so that he has to leave the body at that time. And if he misses that, then again it starts from zero, right? In bhakti, it is not like that. So yogi has to redo all that again when he takes the next form of life. But whereas for bhakta, it will carry forward from where he left his body in the last life. Like if you have reached some stage, then it will be you will give an opportunity to enhance from there that level. You will give an opportunity to give a birth in a Brahmin's family or a rich family where you don't have to the survival of yourself, right? So that is the difference. And devotional service encompasses everything, right? So it is a superior to everything, devotional service, right? You can see in the picture here, right? So on Krishna, they are actually pleasing Krishna. They're offering into him, right? So that is a sense of this chapter 8, right? So here what we learned is Krishna has answered the doubts, that's the questions from Arjuna, right? And exam, death, we understood what is death actually, right? So death is nothing but a exam, and the life, our life is a preparation of that exam, right? and attaining the supreme. So what are the ways of attaining supreme? We understood the comparison of spiritual world and the material world, and leaving the body, like the devotion, how we can leave the body for yogis and devotees. We understood all of this, right? The essence here is the attaining the supreme is that we should remember Krishna in all our activities that we do day to day. So that way we are engaging in akarma, right? So when we are attaining, when we are engaging in devotional service, it is nothing but we are just doing akarma throughout our day. When you do the akarma throughout your day, then there is no chance of you accumulating sin or a pious. And it is only possible to leave this material world when you have the balance of sin also zero, as a pious also zero, like a bank account, right? So as long as you have the balance in sin as well and the pious, you have to take the life, you have to take the birth again, because you have to exhaust that sin and pious thing before you can leave this material world. Otherwise, what happens? You keep on taking, because if you have new desires, you will have to fulfill that. Like, so because of your karma credit, you will have that opportunity to enjoy that. Or if you have done any sin, you have to suffer that, right? But if you are in akarma, you are having a less chance of, no chance of accumulating those sin and pious thing. But if you are left with something, some sins, right? This Hare Krishna Mahamantra will take care of that, right? It will start burning your sins, right? The past karmas. So that's why the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very powerful. So if you chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then it will definitely help you burn all your sins. And once you are in devotional service, you will be able to only accumulate akarma, right? So that way, so one fine day will come, either in this life or in some other life, that Krishna is pleased and you don't have anything to, any desire to be in this material world, then Krishna will take you back happily, right? So our only goal is to practice being in Krishna consciousness by just remembering Krishna in all our activities, right? So that is the way to attain the supreme, right? So we'll see what we can cover in tomorrow's chapter. So the ninth chapter tells about knowledge, inconceivable relationship, right? Non-worship, glories of bhakti. We'll understand more about devotion in this chapter 9. We'll also get to know how to offer to Krishna, right? So whatever food we are preparing, the bhoga. So, and when we have that prasadam, then now we get purified. So we'll understand all of that process in chapter 9 as well. So yeah, so there will be a quiz as usual. So you can complete that quiz to, if you complete all the quizzes of 18 chapters, you will get a certificate. So let us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to end this session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, so we also understand the importance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? So as per Sikshastam 3, Tranadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. So one can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So here it is told in what mindset we should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? So here it is told that we should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the humble state of mind, right? Thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. Like we should think ourselves as the lowest of the lowest living entity, right? One should be more tolerant than the tree. We should have the tolerance beyond the tree. Like tree, what tree can do, right? It can't do anything. It just tolerates whatever you, even if you cut the branch, it can't do anything, right? So we should be so much of tolerance, should have so much of tolerance and divide of all sense false prestige. So we should not have any prestige, right? If you think that like I have done a degree or I am doing a job, I am having such a position, right? So you should leave those all those prestige things, right? And ready to offer all respects to others. And we should be always in the mode of giving respects to others. If you are in the humble mode, you respect others, because in others' heart also there is a Paramatma, right? We are just giving respect because Paramatma is there in their heart, right? In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So if you do this way, if you do the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra with this mindset, your journey to Krishna will be faster. It will be accelerated like anything. You are going on a express highway kind of thing. But if you do chanting by doing like by watching TV or looking at something just for the sake of completing the rounds, if you are doing, then the quality, the result also will be like that. Like you will be going in a road which is full of potholes, right? To just cover, if you see, on a highway, to cover 1 kilometer, it will sometimes take just a half a minute because the road is good. The same, if you want to cover 1 kilometer in a pothole road, it may take also 1 hour, right? So you can think how you want to be, right? So this, you already taken so many births, millions of births to attain this human life. And still, if you want to waste this life, then again you have to take millions of births to again come back to this earth, right? So the choice is yours. So if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamad with humble mode, in the Brahma Muhurta, it's best recommended. But if you're not able to do all these things, but it's at least good to do chanting, but don't skip chanting. Because once you start doing chanting, gradually Krishna will help you improve the quality of chanting also. But this is the recommended way in Shikshastakam. So you should like think that you should be so humble and like you are just lowest, you are nothing in this world actually, right? If you have that mindset, then Krishna will be pleased quickly, right? So that's the essence of this thing here. Yeah, so Lakshmi Narasimha from our Lakshmi Narasimha Girdhari temple is called Gandharvika Girdhari. This is ISKCON temple at HBR. So if you have any questions, you can try to answer. Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for this opportunity. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for the nice explanation in the easy way. Yeah, attaining the Supreme. The only path is the bhakti. You need to chant and eat the prasadam. That solves. The simple steps are there rather than the what we say the Ashtanga Yoga. So just follow the chanting at least one round, minimum one round, and eat the prasadam. Offer the food, what we said earlier, just a cup of water or a cup of milk with the tulsi leaf, or a fruit, one fruit, any fruit with the tulsi leaf. Thank you, dear devotees. You can ask any question if you have.
Any questions, you can raise your hand, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prakash Prabhu. You are on mute, Prabhu.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Okay. Prabhu, I did not follow this karma. So it is written as reaction that force the living entity to take material body in this world.
Yeah. So based on our activities and the desires, Prabhu, we will take the next life. So whatever we do the activities in this life, so we will develop a consciousness and desires are there. So based on our desires and the consciousness that we have, so we are bound to take the life next time. So that's what it says.
Okay, but as long as we are here, it is a reaction that forces the living entity to make some karma, and make some actions,
No,
Like,
reaction, Prabhu, it is. It is said reaction, like whatever actions we take, the
okay.
result of that decides our next life. That's what is the meaning of that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other questions?
No problem. Okay. Prabhu, in
Yes.
the Actually, I have seen one at the end of the death, So you have seen, I have seen picture. He is now having a one tag in the leg, Prabhuji. What is that tag? So during death,
No, bro, that's just a picture. If you some dead bodies kept in some hospital in storage, right? So they give a number.
Okay, Prabhu.
So just a picture. To identify the dead body, they will give a number or a name. They'll write on that because
Okay,
they don't want to open the face and see, right? So they just see that and see that this is the person because dead body is not nice to see, no.
okay, buddy. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, so tomorrow is an important chapter. So we'll get to know how to offer food to Krishna and what is the process to be followed. So those are very simple process. Please attend and so that you can follow that in more detail. Like so far, you are only doing the offering of only fruits and water. So we'll understand how to offer the food that we are preparing to Krishna and when to offer and all of that. What is the process to offer, when what mantras to say and all of that. So yeah, ninth chapter is heart of the Bhagavad Gita. It's ninth chapter. It's the middle of 18 chapters, and that's the core of bhakti. Right? We'll understand that. So this from chapter 7 to 12 are all bhakti yoga. So it's a precious thing within the Bhagavad Gita. So let's understand that tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mathaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Recently, I just went through the title Saha Karma. They explain that if we are in a group and something is wrong is happening and someone raised his voice or particular one raised that voice and we didn't support, we didn't talk about that. So we have to face, if something has done wrong, we have to face the fruit of that karma also, because we didn't did anything here, but something is wrong happening and we are sitting quiet and facing that, saying that. So we also have to face that fruit, Prabhuji, of that karma.
Yes, Mataji, I think you have to, because in some cases, indirectly or directly, you are supporting that, whatever is happening there. So if you are part of that, then some portion of that will also come to you. That's what I understand, Mataji. Sindu Mataji, you can add if you have anything.
So in that case, we have to take action, or just we have to be like that, show concern that we have to highlight that particular
No,
problem.
Mataji, so you have to just follow the scripture. So what is recommended as per the scripture in that situation? So once you read the Bhagavad Gita, so you'll be able to understand and analyze that situation. And as per Bhagavad Gita, whatever is right as per that Prabhupada's explanation, that action you need to take, Mataji. That's all. So if you are as per the scripture, then nothing to worry.
So for this particular chapter, like where I can get the sar of that thing, actions, karma, in particular chapter, so I can go through this weekly or like twice, so I can
Yes,
get
Mataji.
clarified.
So you keep reading more and more, listening to Prabhupada, Mataji. So you will get to answers to all your situations, because Prabhupada has, one sloka Prabhupada is explaining for hours together. And he gives so many reference from different scriptures also, like Bhagavatam and the real-time examples. He will make us understand in a very simple